talk about the fun part. I get to talk about fear. Actually, if you are fearful, that means that you're growing and you're learning and you're changing. So congratulations if you are feeling fear. It's a good thing. Let me tell you very briefly about my background. I worked with the FDIC in the savings and loan crisis in the 90s, so I'm very familiar with what the times looked like back then. Since then, I took quite a detour and became a counselor in the mental health field. Too long of a story to explain on this panel, but trust me, it's worked out. And what I've done in the past couple of years is start a company called KBK Connections, where I put the financial information that I have together with the psychological information, and I help women like yourselves talk to their money so they can reach true financial freedom. And so what I hope to do today with my small amount of time is give you guys a very concrete tool to manage what's called bag lady fear. Does anybody ever have bag lady syndrome? People know what that is? You used to. Someone's recovered from bag lady syndrome. So why don't we have one volunteer to shout out what that means, bag lady syndrome? Do you want to? Oh, here she goes. No, go for it.
No, I'm an expert. 20 years ago when I left my job, I said I started my own company. It was very, very successful. I served a ton of publicity that I didn't see. And everybody thought I was making $1 million, but I was so afraid that I wasn't good enough. And even though I wrote thousands of service, it was never good enough for me. And so I was always terrified that I was not going to make it. And I would walk up and down the street, and I would see people who were homeless on the street. I'm just 5 minutes from being like that. And that would block my creativity, and block my confidence, and block my ability to grow and expand my business. And so what I did was take a lot of personal development work, talk openly and honestly with people who have been successful in whatever, and they all had challenges. And one of my, I think, the women's conference they have every year, they had some very famous women there, and they just been told about how they had bag lady syndrome, etc., and had overcome it. It was so refreshing to all of us to hear women knock it up and say, well, I've always been perfect. It was easy for me, but, it was a tough road to hoe. Here's how I handled it.
And I thank you very much. I think what you highlight so beautifully is the fact that bag lady syndrome can happen to any of us, and it doesn't matter what your disposable income is. So if anybody experienced that in September when they watched the market crash, certainly you're not alone. The good news is bag lady syndrome is not a clinical diagnosis. You're not sick. You're just having a natural response to fear, which typically is fight or flight, right? So often women and men too, but when we're faced with fear, we either get in there and duke it out, which is my tendency, which is kind of more on the male side, or we run for the hills and we hide. So women around money typically do either the deer caught in headlights of like, and they're very, very anxious about money, or you put your head in the sand and you become an ostrich. And that's the person that you think looks really calm, that they are really calm because they say, I don't worry about money. Well, I got to tell you, if you're at either end of that spectrum, that's not a good place to be in terms of your relationship with money. Health is somewhere in the middle. So what I'm going to teach you today is the wise mind. And some of you who have studied yoga and Buddhist principles will know about this, but I'm going to apply it to the bag lady syndrome and to what this financial crisis is looking like. Because for me as a money coach, I got to tell you, I could have looked at this and gone, I'm a money coach and all my financial advisors are getting laid off. But instead I'm looking at it as I'm a money coach. What a great time to be a money coach, to help these financial advisors talk to their clients about money, manage their feelings, and make a big difference in the world. So it's all how we view things. So I am not an artist. I write books. So I'm going to draw circles. Send me good vibes. Here we go. Oh, not exactly a circle. Are people familiar with this concept? Okay, so you have right in here is the wise mind. Now think about it. Do I have a volunteer, someone who wants to tell me what it was like when they started to discover the market crashing, or you got laid off? Or don't worry, I'm not going to do therapy. I'm going to keep it really tame. Anyone? Any takers? Okay, I'll do myself. I like talking about myself. Okay. So, day the market crashes, or the start of the crash. First thing I say, being a self-employed individual who is, transitioning from career to career, it's been a long transition, but I'm doing that. My emotional mind says, oh, I quit. I am so not going to even bother running my own business. I'm going to get a job somewhere. I even got to this place. Maybe I'll work at McDonald's. My husband looks at me and goes, you have a master's degree, you've owned a business for 15 years, and you're going to go work at McDonald's. I said, yes, I think that that's a good plan. He said, I don't think that that's a good plan. And so what he helped me do, which he often helps me do, is be able to move out of the emotional mind into more rational thought. I'll get to you one second. And so the rational thought was, okay, let me think about this. The market's crashing, I have all these skills in helping people around money, and the emotional part of money, maybe there's a real opportunity here. And so I started to look at all the reasons why I should stay in business. You know, McDonald's is a great place to work, but at this point in my career at 42, I'm thinking McDonald's isn't where I should be. And all the reasons, so I went over here. And so I made decisions about my business going forward by the middle of September when I had done this process for what's called the wise mind. And the wise mind is the combination of two. We don't just need to be rational. We don't just need to be emotional. We need to combine the two because that is where our wisdom comes from. And so I made my marketing plan and I said to the DWC, hey, let's get out and talk to women so they can be in their wise mind and they can look at this financial situation. I don't even want to call it a crisis because I don't want to reinforce that myth. But how do we look at this and how do we use our wise minds to decide what am I going to do career-wise, what am I going to do with my business, and how can I move forward and be with other women that want to really see this as an opportunity. I'm not saying that some days it's not hard, but it's really important for you guys to stay in your wise mind and to really think that through.